Welcome back to Floods and Dragons, our first adventure. Last episode, our adventurers came from far and wide to join what seemed to be an entire town at their amphitheater to see a famed bard sing. A hilariously forward faun named Jatoria befriended a bookish halfling, Jane Appleblossom, while another halfling, Ran Oldbuck, shot his shot with the singer and was turned down. A behemoth furbolg named Braun Flowercrown couldn't find a shirt to fit his arms. They all ended up at a tavern and inn, where wooden doors were examined by Jane. Ran proved his worth as a gambler and boozehound. Jatoria diffused a fight, and Braun chuckled his way to drunkenness. But all was not well. When both Ran and Jet went to their rooms to rest, unexplained whispers and sensations of grabbing hands haunted them both. Welcome back to Floods and Dragons.
Yeah.
So good at this.
Jane is upstairs sleeping in her bed. Braun is passed out of the table, and you spend the evening accompanied by the snores of the large man sitting in the corner and drinking. And the sun begins to come up and shine through the windows. Upstairs, Jane, just a small sliver of light kind of peeks through at an angle and warms your face as you awake in the morning. And at some point during the night, for Ran and Jet, somebody else has come in to run the tavern. The person that was there for the previous evening has been replaced by the next shift.
I was totally going to ask that. I was like, it's a good thing this place is 24/7.
What is an inn as well? So people are always in and out.
Yeah.
Get it?
It's like an IHOP, basically.
Gotcha.
Or a Denny's. It's like a Denny's.
Yeah.
But with beds?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to stay at a Denny's, but...
Yeah. Anyway.
Look, any theater kids can tell you that Denny's is where you go when you have nowhere else to go, and maybe people fall asleep there. Are you supposed to? No.
Jane, you awake in your room. Jet's not there.
I'm going to put my book in my bag and make sure that my clothes are neat and orderly looking. And I'm going to head downstairs to see if Jet's down there.
You see the scene in the corner. You see it.
A rattled halfling who's a little worse for wear.
A still shaken halfling, a
No sleep.
just slightly tipsy Jet. Not like even tipsy, I wouldn't even call it that. But she's in the corner. They're sitting there barely talking with a large Braun passed out on the table, snoring like a bulldozer.
I'm gonna go up. First, I'm gonna go up to the barkeep and ask if they have like fruit juice or something, like orange juice, apple juice, grape juice.
Sure, you can get an apple juice.
Cool. And then she'll head over to the table and just kind of a little bit more cheery than she should be. Just kind of like move into an open seat and just be like, "Morning, everyone."
Rand's pretty
gonna
overtired, so he's just going to grunt in response.
Kind of startles you awake, Braun.
Sits up joltedly, looking around. Huh? Who? What? Little disoriented. Oh, you're back.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to. I'm so sorry. Please don't hate me.
He smiles. No, it's fine. And looking around at the other two.
She's gonna offer you her apple juice.
Your head hurts, Braun. Your head hurts a lot.
Okay. He smiles at the apple juice, but does not take it. Looking down, he sees the cold tea from the night before, half finished, and he downs that in one sip.
Yeah, I mean, you're all there. Ran and Jet, you guys have stayed up all evening, so I need you to make a Constitution saving throw to see if you gain a point of exhaustion.
18.
You're good?
19?
Yeah, you're both
Damn.
Wow.
Well done.
Y'all fucking bodied a binge drinking session.
Yeah.
Jet knows
for
what's
sure.
up. Rand fist bumps Jet.
You guys, yeah, you You're still feeling okay. Like oddly enough, I don't know. Maybe you took a nap the day before the concert, but you guys are still. You're good. You're up and kicking.
Ron, with his head still in one of his hands, kind of turns over to the bar and just motions to the barkeep to bring him something.
They bring you a large mug of water.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna look at Jane, still a little on edge, still a little bit, but like, so you slept okay? Everything, you slept good? Nothing happened? Nothing weird?
She's just gonna kind of look at you very concerned and say, "Yeah, I slept fine. Thank you."
Suspicious look. And then I turn back to, the dregs of an ale that's just nasty at this point, but I keep drinking.
As he turns back to his drink, Jane, in like a little bit of impish a mood, she's going to cast message towards Ran in halfling and just start like making incoherent whispers.
Okay.
Side note, Jane's a bitch.
So
she's
Ran.
a rascally young halfling.
Ran,
And she sees an opportunity that she's gonna take.
In your head, and Jane, can you just roll sleight of hand for me? Because you're trying to do this without being seen.
Oh yeah, sure, I can do that. I'm trying to decide if I should roll a portent roll or not. Ooh. Because I got 2 fairly good portents for this particular daybreak time. No, let's go for it. I'm just gonna roll.
I like how considered you are when messing with me. That's really
That's
kind of
gonna
how
be
much
15 total.
forethought.
15 total for sleight of hand.
Ran, you begin to hear whispers in your head. They don't make any sense.
I'm immediately jumping up on my seat, like standing full on the seat, which still doesn't make me that tall in terms of the group, but jumping up on my seat, and I'm going to pull out my revolver and start looking around, like nervously, like, did you hear that? What was that? Like freaking out, full on.
Jet and Braun, you see this and you have no idea what's going on.
Ron looks over, still head hurting, and goes, "Little man, shh. It's too early for this shit."
All of a sudden, Jane is just like giggling slightly, and then she just kind of bursts out laughing. And in halfling to you, Ran, she just says, "It was a prank. I'm sorry. I just had to take the opportunity."
Ran is livid. Like, just livid. His face is red. He is furious. He is gripping his revolver so tightly, staring at Jane.
Trigger discipline.
What?
Trigger discipline.
I don't know what that means.
Oh. So you keep your finger
He's a
off the
Canadian.
trigger. I know.
He's a Canadian. It's fine.
Gripping my pistol, not firing. Putting it back in the holster. Slipping back into my seat. Just freaking glaring at Jane like I want to tear her apart. Just murder her so bad. And then turning away so that I don't.
As he turns away, I'm gonna burn this spell, but I'm gonna cast Misty Step and appear where he looks.
Just right in front of him. Right as he's looking away from you.
Rand falls over backwards and hits the floor.
She just
Just
starts
startled as hell.
laughing even more, and she's gonna go over to him and hold her hand out to try and help him up.
Rand's going to get up of his own accord and walk out the front door. Because he's having none of that.
So Ran gets up and starts walking away, and you guys all see this scene play out. Is there anything you want to do?
I'm going to say to Jane, while hilarious, we have both been awake way too long for that kind of shenanigans this early. So I think someone should go get Ran. And as I have not slept, I do not want to go do it.
After hearing Jet's words, I slowly stand up and say, I'll go get him. And I slowly and soberly make my way to the door.
At this point, Rand is a little bit of ways,
Rand's gone.
starting to walk down the street. Yeah, he's definitely down the street a bit.
It's a little bit daylight now, I'm assuming, right? Was that correct? Or like we're the next day now?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
Looking up to see Rand, I bring one of my hands up and use it to shield the sun from my eyes. Head still hurting and still feeling it. Little man, where'd you go? He kind of bellows out as he walks out of the tavern and down the street.
Rand hears it, but he just throws his hand up as a wave and just keeps walking.
I keep walking, and eventually, with the leg sizes, I just end up stumbling into you. Or, bumping you
Eventually,
from behind.
because of the walking speed of the two of you, Braun will eventually kind of catch up to you walking down the street.
What do you want?
What do I want? Where are you going?
Leaving. Going back home. I don't need this. I got my concert, and the other halfling's I don't like her. And I'm going. I don't need this.
Braun smirks and then, drops his hand, kind of nestling at Rand. Oh, come on, man. Was funny.
Not to me!
It's about this time as you guys are having this conversation that there's an alleyway kind of near you. Because it's early morning, the sun, is hitting the buildings at an angle, and the alleyway is pretty dark. And you hear a soft cry for help. Help me. Somebody, please.
Amazing.
Did you hear that too? Double checking because he's been having a few.
Yeah, that alley, right?
Yeah. And
Should
start
we-
moving towards it. Yeah.
Yeah, slowly we both start making our way over there.
Peeking into the alley.
As you approach, Braun, you don't see it, but Rand, you watch almost a shadow within the shadow dive around the corner behind the building.
Suspiciously looking, and then go back to Braun. Did you see that? What was that?
See what? Braun says, looking around.
The shadow, it
It's
moved.
just an alley.
The shadow moved. I'm telling you.
I saw no such shadow.
I should have gone to sleep. I'm going to walk further into the alley and chase the shadow.
So you run down the alley, and as soon as you hit the corner that you saw something go around, Braun close behind, both of you feel your shoulders grabbed and you're thrust forward almost as if being pushed. You wince for a moment and open your eyes, and you're no longer in the alleyway. You're in a city of ruins, in a thick fog. You can hear birds, and the wind is blowing pretty heavily. Both of you look around and don't see the other.
Where am I? What's going on? Freaking out a little bit again, as per usual, pulling out my revolver and looking around nervously and excited. It's been a long night.
Ron brings his hand back, feeling that his axe is still strapped to his shoulders and his back. Little man, are you there? He yells, turning around, trying to see if he can see anything at all through this fog.
You can make out the form of like buildings and ruins, buildings that have started to decay and crumble, mostly made of stone, but there's no response from Rin.
I'm going to shout out for the big guy. Big guy? Where'd you go, big guy?
It's the same situation for you.
I'll start walking, I guess.
I start walking towards the closest ruin towards me, ahead of me, the closest one there. Yelling out for Ren as well.
And as both of you take that first step, you feel a grasp around your ankle. And you are pulled into the earth. And when you can finally see again, you're laying in the alleyway that you once were.
Ran is screaming bloody murder and freaking out and flailing about as he realizes he's back in the alley and tries to compose himself and grabs Braun by the shoulder and just, or whatever he can reach. Just it's like, what just happened? What just happened?
Braun, head still spinning, looks up. There you are, little man. What? Where were I? Fog? He says confused.
The fog with the city that was falling apart. What was that? Were you that? You were there? I didn't see you. What was going on? What the heck is going on in this town?
I don't know. I was there. I didn't see you. You crumbling buildings, stone, ruins?
Exactly. That's the one. Yeah, I was there. I didn't see you. Something grabbed me, though. Did something grab you?
Yes, by the ankle.
And by the shoulder to get there.
Yeah. LeBron sits up again, leaning against one of the walls.
I'm getting out of this tavern. I'm getting out of this town. And I'm going to start leaving the alley immediately. And just hustle stepping my way out of town. Or towards that exit of town or whatever.
So for Jane and Jet, you guys have been sitting there for almost an hour, and neither one have returned. But for you, Braun and Ran, it's only been minutes. At least it seems to be.
Slowly I'll stand up and then start to follow Ran out of the alley.
Okay. What are you doing, Jane and Jet?
Well, after consuming first and second breakfast and realizing the boys never came back, I'm gonna look at Jane and be like, all right, do you think they got lost? Should we go find them?
Jane's probably reading again at this point, but she's gonna look up and...
Is she reading anything about repentance or...
Wow, okay. She was pulling a prank.
Guilt or ethics? No, I'm sorry. My bad.
She was pulling a prank. Nothing unethical about a prank. Anyways, well, as long as it's a true prank. So she's gonna look outside. Is there a window nearby that she can see out of?
Yeah. She kind of has to stand on her tippy toes, but sure.
All right, she's gonna look outside and she's gonna try and determine the time of day by where the shadows are on the ground relative to where light seems to be coming from.
It's like 9:30, 10, somewhere in that ish area, judging by where the sun is.
So she's gonna sit back down and she'll look over at Jet and just say, yeah, we should probably settle any debts here we have at the tavern and go try and find them. I mean, my assumption is they just both decided to leave and aren't coming back, but we can go make sure they didn't get into trouble. Knowing the guy with the eye patch, he probably did get into more trouble.
Ran, old buck.
As you approach the innkeeper and ask, if you have anything on your tab, as you will, they inform you that your friend tipped rather generously for the evening and not to worry about it.
Oh.
Oh, thank you so much. I really, well, I guess I shouldn't be thanking you, but thank you for your service. It was lovely. The food and drinks were lovely. Goodbye. And
Of course, come back anytime.
She's just gonna... She probably hopped onto a stool at the bar to have that interaction. She's just gonna hop off and walk over towards the door.
And as you open this door and step out with Jet close to your side, you see Ran full sprint out of an alleyway about 100 to 200 feet away from you. Shortly followed by Braun, kind of not full sprint, but a quickened pace following behind.
Well, they clearly didn't get lost if they're right there. Should
Yeah,
we
I'm
follow them?
gonna start approaching them, but as I do, I'm going to cast message to Braun and say, "Hey, where have you guys been?"
So you hear Jane in your head.
Looking around, startled at first because of this voice in my head, but quickly kind of recognizing it, especially as I see her walking down the street towards us. I motion for them to come over, and as they do, I yell out, "Fog," and still shaking my head, confused at what happened.
So he yells out fog, and with the message spell, you can reply. So you hear him yell it out down the
Oh.
street, but you also hear it in your head. No, it's fine. Braun would probably yell it out anyway.
Yeah, he wouldn't know.
So all you hear is Braun, fog, and Rand is just like still walking off down the street to try to leave this
At a brisk
city.
pace.
Jane's just gonna stop in her tracks and just look around, kind of confused, because it appears to be a bright, sunny day, early or late morning, almost heading to the afternoon.
Yep.
What do you mean, fog? Is everything okay?
Shaking and slightly holding my head still, I look back at the alley and then tell the girls, I followed in there. Ren said he saw a shadow. He chased it. I chased him. We got into the back of the alley, and then we weren't in the alley. There was fog and a crumbling city, and neither of us were there, but we were. And then we were back here, laying in the alley. He just stares into the alley, still lost, not sure what happened.
Hearing this, Jane is going to go into the alley.
I'm gonna ask Braun if he heard any whispering.
Yes. Slight, incoherent. Nothing's.
Okay, I'm not the only one.
Jane, you enter this alleyway and kind of come to the ending where it turns and look around. Nothing seems to be out of sorts.
I'm gonna start, basically going like, "Hello, is someone back here?" And she's gonna say it in Common, and then she'll go to Halfling, and then she'll say it in Gnomish, and then Elvish, and she's just gonna try and think of like any other languages she might know, but kind of fall short and just wait for a response.
No answers. And for those of you who are still in the street, Ran is just still walking away. He's gone. You've lost sight of Ran. He's just kept walking.
His little halfling legs can hustle.
I'm gonna lean in close to Braun and say, "Did something touch his shoulder?"
I love it.
He hunches down and leans back over and, whispers back to her, "No, yes, and then my ankle."
I'm going to decide to run after Ran, and before I do, I say, "Well, I'm gonna go touch his shoulder. I'll be right back." And I take off running.
So Jet takes off full sprint to try to catch up to Ran, just as you turn around, Jane, and look back down the alleyway towards them. Jet is gone.
Fawn speed.
Fast hooves.
So Jane will come back out from the alley and approach Braun and look up at him and be like, "Where's Jet going? Or where's Jatoria going?"
He looks down at her and says, "I believe to touch shoulders."
Oh, okay. Right. Sure.
Should we follow them?
I
Go
mean,
on.
I'm not very fast. I'll try and keep up, but we can, I guess.
Ron lowers his hand and offers and says, "Hop on," offering to carry her on his shoulder.
Oh.
Jane's gonna look around and make sure that no one's really watching. Is the street kind of empty, or is like no
It's
one?
pretty empty. It's still pretty early. So yeah, you
It was noon
might
almost. It was like
pass-
11.
yeah, and there was a giant concert the night before that the whole city went to.
Okay.
Jane will accept
pretty empty.
the offer of a ride.
Ron, then carrying Jane on his shoulder, turns around and mostly steadily runs after Jet and Ran.
Okay. And Jet is the fastest out of all of you. You're trying to sneak up on Ran.
No, I'm not sneaking. No.
Oh, okay. So Ran, you're just still walking. You are terrified and you are pissed off and you are just pouting your way out of this town. And behind you hear
Looking back, seeing Jet coming, but I'm just turning back full steam ahead, still hustling with my little power walk. My little halfling power walk, hips going, fucking elbows up, just hustling. I don't want anything to do with this
Jet,
town.
I'm
you
gonna
catch up
yell
to him.
out for him to stop.
Nope.
You're not
Keep
gonna
on
stop?
walking. I'm gonna turn over. Nope. Just keep on hustling.
I'm gonna touch your shoulder. I heard you hate that. I'm gonna do it. You better stop.
I'm gonna keep walking. It's a terrible threat.
Okay, I'm just gonna catch up and just kind of trot alongside him because he's walking very quickly for him, but it's a slow pace for me.
How dare you, Hurtsful? Yeah, you do right to get out of this town too. Something's going on there.
Where are you going?
Anywhere but here. This place is messed up. I don't know what's going on, but I cannot stay here another second. There's something going on there.
Did you also see the fog?
Yep. There was a fog. There was a city. I don't know what was going on. Something grabbed me, and I'm not going back.
Okay. Well, you don't have to go back, but you should at least slow down because I know our friends are coming. We're friends now, and we have to wait for them.
I'm not friends with anyone.
No, you're friends with us.
I'm not your friend.
We're friends.
Just because we drank together does not make us friends. I got places to go, and I'm out of here. And I'm just going to keep
Okay.
hustling. Rand's rattled. He's being a dick. He doesn't care.
Yeah. Eventually, you guys have reached like the edge of town. You are now stepping out onto this path that kind of winds out through the woods. And Braun and Jane, you guys are getting pretty close. You haven't quite caught up yet, but you're definitely like within line of sight of the two as they walk out of the city.
Probably naturally slowed pace when I was talking a little bit without realizing.
Yeah, for sure.
So wait, do we see Braun and them coming? Or are they like too far
you don't
back?
necessarily see them. Like they would be if you looked behind you for them, you would see them. They're catching up. They're still a bit of a ways away, probably about 100 feet or so. But they can see you.
Okay.
I keep walking, slight jogging, Janae on my shoulder. Keep trying to catch up to our fellow friends down at the other end. As we get closer, I slow down not trying not to jostle Janae nearly as much, but still walking at a brisk pace to catch up to where the rest of our group is.
And eventually you guys do catch up. You're now quite a bit out of town, a few 100 feet or so.
Damn my
on this
tiny
path-
legs.
On this path leading through the woods. What are you doing?
I'm hustling. You know what I'm doing.
Where are you going?
Next town over? Anywhere. Anywhere but here.
Okay. So you've all caught back up together, and you're heading off through the woods.
Yay! Friendship reunited.
Bah.
I'll leave this map up for now, the same one. Eventually, there's an old woman with kind of tattered clothes sitting on the side of the road, holding a cup out. Spare a second for an old woman.
Rand keeps walking. Rand's got no time for this.
Nice of you.
I'm going to stop and approach her.
Oh, your horns are lovely. Can you spare some coin?
Yeah, sure. I mean, give her a coin, I guess.
Yeah, so mechanics wise, 1 gold is 10 silver and 1 silver is 10 copper, so it's all in tens. And right now you all only have gold, but you can split that up as needed for now. So if you want to toss her like a silver or something, you don't have to get rid of a whole gold, just get rid of 1 gold and then add 9 silver.
Okay. I will give her 2 silver.
Victoria grabbing her little change thing on her belt, little clicker thing.
Oh, thank you so much for your time, honey. What about Braun and Jane?
I think I'm kind of at Braun's disposal at this point.
Oh, true.
Oh, true. I guess I have explicitly
You're being
put you
carried.
down.
Yeah.
I guess this would be a good time to do that. There's no more need to carry her around. We've caught up.
Yeah, if Braun offers to put me down, then Jane will probably run over there and also spare 2 silver for the old woman.
Oh, thank
But
you
also
so
ask
much.
if she has any cool books.
She's just like very confused, like looks at what she's wearing and that she has no belongings and is like, books.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Jane is gonna reach into her bag and see if she has like a book that she's finished that she didn't find particularly interesting to give to the woman.
And Jane probably would. Hands one of the books over that she's already finished. It's pretty small. But hands it to the woman. Well, thank you. I'm glad you could stop for a moment.
Is it the wood identification book? Sorry.
No, that's actually
This
been a
is
useful book. She might
mahogany!
keep it.
The big book of wood?
It's been a
Oh
useful
my
book. She
God.
might
No,
want
the
it.
big book of wood is entirely different.
Yeah, it's a completely different book, man.
Different genre and everything.
That one has more illustrations than words.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a picture book
Picture
for
book.
sure.
That doesn't seem like Jane's style. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good.
Rand's still hustling along. Left y'all in the dust again, by the way.
Oh yeah, you're like a whole 30 feet away as they stop and drop coins into this lady's cup.
And have a conversation.
Ron stops, but he doesn't offer any silver or any coin. He just looks down at her and then looks back at the town and says, "Do you live here?"
I don't really live anywhere.
Do any of us really live anywhere?
Ooh, deep.
Rand lives in the house. 2
Then
towns
why
over,
isn't
and he's headed
Rand
back.
there?
Because he came for a concert. He's working his way back now.
Well, I appreciate you stopping and giving me a minute of your time. I'll be on my way. She starts walking off in the opposite direction.
Of the town?
No, of you guys. She's walking towards the town.
Oh.
You guys continue on through the woods. And yeah, go ahead.
I feel like at some point I would yell very loudly at Ran, who is scurrying away.
Do it then.
Hey! I have been nice enough to you. I saved your ass in that tavern. You get back here and talk to us.
You didn't save anyone. I could have taken them. I bought your drinks and I'm out of here. I've had enough of this town. I'm out.
I'm going to summon my daggers into my hands.
So Jet just like flashes her hands out to the side and two daggers appear. What do your daggers look like? I feel like they have to look special if you can just like summon them to you.
They're very glowy and curvy and sharp.
I like it. Glowy and curvy and sharp. Beautiful.
Rand doesn't notice any of the beauty of the daggers as his back is turned and he's continuing on his journey back home out the fuck this town. Out this damn town.
I said stop.
Braun
Right.
also notices the knives and goes, "Hey, little man, turn around."
Ran
Trying
after-
to draw Rand's attention.
Now with a second drinking bunny joining in, Rand finally stops, slowly turns around and says, "What?"
I'm going to point my dagger at him and glare at him and say, get back here now.
I'm not going back to that town. You can't make me. There's no reason to. It's crazy back there, and I'm leaving. And you'd be best to do the same.
At this point, I'm going to turn around and look at Jane and Braun, exasperated, and be like, someone else try. I'm done. I need someone else to take over Rand duty. Like, I'm
Jet
exhausted
just
at this
like
point.
Jet just like gestures and is like,
Jane's just gonna look back and like put her arms up and shrug, like I'm the best person to do this, kind of like giving that kind of a face.
Braun sighs because once again he has to be the one to go and deal with Rand.
This is really allegorical to how we deal with flood, isn't it?
As a side note, Rand is the only reasonable person here. Who's
It's
staying
like
in that
watching a
town?
horror movie and you're like, why don't you just leave? And Rand is like the one that's like, no, I'm just leaving. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, technically, we are already out of the town. We're not asking you to stay in the town. We're not in the town anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going. I'm just leaving to the next town. I'm fine. You guys can come with me or not. I don't care.
But do you care?
No. No, I made that very clear. I'm leaving. I'm going to the next town.
Aren't you going to miss your friends?
You were drinking buddies. There
We're
will be new
friends.
drinking buddies. I'll be okay.
Are we shouting this from 30 feet?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It is the husband on the porch and the wife in the yard, like yelling at each other in the neighborhood. Yeah, 100%. Just here in the woods.
This wouldn't be so awkward if you would just come back.
Rand grudgingly stomps back over. I don't know what you want from me. There's no reason to go back to that town. I saw my concert. I got spooked. The other halfling was a jerk, and I'm done.
Hearing this, Jane is just gonna shout back, "Hey, you were a jerk first."
Yeah, you were.
When was I a jerk?
In the concert when you walked by.
You're
At the
holding that
very
against me?
beginning.
Bought you
Yeah.
drinks all night and you're holding that against me?
You never said sorry. You should apologize to Jane.
Jane spoke in my head.
She's very talented.
After a whole night where we were getting spooked, shoulder grabbing was happening in the darkness, there's shadows that are moving, we got whisked away in the mist, and Jane's busy speaking in my goddamn head? No thank you. I've had enough of this.
Look, I know what I did was not right, but I didn't think it was that serious. I didn't realize how serious it was. I had a great night's sleep. I thought maybe you just had a nightmare and then your drinking kind of pushed you over the edge. I don't know how alcohol works.
Read about it in a book. He grumbles.
Are we friends again?
Sure.
That's not a no. See? Told ya.
Well, what do you guys want to do? What do you want from me? Ran asked expectantly.
And they all sit deep in thought.
Like,
Jane's just standing there with her arms crossed at the read about it in a book comment.
Oof.
She's kind of puffed up and like brooding at this point.
So what do you guys want from Rand?
Rand turns around and starts walking again. Screw all y'all. I don't need this.
What are you guys doing?
Was I standing near Ran at this point?
Yeah, you
I
guys
had
were-
stomped back over.
He stormed. Yeah, he stormed back to you.
Okay. I'm going to, as he starts to walk away, I'm just going to like huff, and then I'm going to again cast Misty Step and Misty Step 30 feet ahead of him. But I'm also
So-
walking away.
So now
That
he's
is
following
the
you.
most petty shit I've ever seen. So Jane just pops up in front of you, walking in front of you now by about 20 feet.
Rand jumps and falls on his bottom, quickly scrambling back up, dusting himself off as if nothing happened, and then just starts deviating his path a little bit to the left and just keeps on storming away. Trying to keep her out of his field of view. Grumbling and muttering under his breath.
Jet and Braun.
I'm just gonna look at Braun and shrug.
Same here, shrug and chuckle, and then follow after our friends.
I love it. So you guys continue down this path. And a few hours pass. It's mid-afternoon now. And it's weird. You start to look around and things appear to be getting slightly darker. Almost like the sun is being blurred out. And you continue. And after a moment, you realize you're in a light fog. The trees around you appear half dead.
Rand was a little obstinate at first, but starts to notice this slowly shifts over and starts getting a little nervous and a little tweaky, checking over his shoulders again, looking around more and getting nervous and quickening his step. But then slowly, as it gets foggier, comes to a stop and just starts looking around and breathing heavily, wondering what's going on.
Braun grunts more fog as he looks down at Jet, clearly not happy.
I'm going to say, how long do you think it's going to take Jane to notice? Because she's been reading this entire time she's been walking.
That's exactly correct.
So Rand
Braun looks
stops.
down the road and says, "Until that tree."
Jane, you almost walk face first into this tree that's hanging out slightly into the road. A branch fallen down, kind of crossing the path. And as you turn to look behind you, everybody else is kind of like way back here. Rand has stopped walking for a moment as he's realized you're in some fog. And Jet and Braun are just kind of chilling back here, waiting for you to stop.
Yeah, she stops as she's about to hit the tree, and then she just kind of takes a look around. I feel like Jane would have walked down this path to get to the concert, so she's trying to look for, like, if it seems familiar or not.
She said, expectantly. Rand's kind of similarly just looking around, staring like what the heck is going on, and realizing that Braun and Jet aren't that far behind, starts moving towards them again and going, see, it's happening again.
Braun walks towards Rand, nods, and says, "Yeah, more fog." Looking around, confused, curious, wondering what's going on.
I accidentally hit my mute key.
Oh, you were talking? I was like, why is Zdardis so quiet? Like, did he get a really bad text message or something? Like,
I have my 2-button plate on my mouse, and one of them is my mute key, and one's my push to talk, and I accidentally hit my mute key when I hit my push to talk.
I was just like, I don't know how to drag this further without knowing anything, sir.
Yeah.
Help.
What did you roll for that perception check, Jane? Sorry.
Oh,
guys.
I did a perception
We didn't have that.
check.
We haven't heard you in a long time.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
You got her walking into a tree, and that's the last we heard from you.
Yeah.
And then Rand noticing us, and then that was it.
You guys did such a good job in my absence. I'm so proud of you. Okay, so
I'm gonna burn a portent, and we're gonna go 16 for perception.
okay, you kind of are looking around for any landmarks that you might recognize. This does not appear to be the path that you took into town. And beyond what you see in the fog and the trees, and some of these trees are starting to die, you faintly hear
Is someone making a pizza?
Rand is freaking out and like scrambling up to Braun, just being like, big guy, it's happening. What is that? You can hear that, right? You can hear that, right?
Let's see. Jane hears it because she's looking for things. Rand hears it definitely with his passive. Braun and Jet, you don't really hear it.
I just stand there looking confused, down at Rand again. Hear what?
You don't hear it? The music, it's creepy. It's everywhere.
No music.
You looking at Jet.
Is it whispering or music?
It's whispering music. It's everywhere. Can't you hear it? I don't understand.
I don't hear anything.
I'm looking around frantically, freaking out.
Roll a perception check for me.
Where's perception?
Middle row.
Ooh, there it is. 20.
Damn, son.
You sicken me with your digital roll.
May the odds be ever in Rand's favor.
Let me check this. Yeah, you see it. Jane, you don't necessarily see it, but you hear this singing. Kind of off into the woods, about 50 or so feet away. It appears to be a small child kind of facing away from you. It's hard to make out through the fog, but you can kind of see them.
Rand points, staring, like, just bulging eyes at it, like, that. You see that, though, right? You see that? All of you? You see that? Who is that? What is that?
And the two of you that are with Ran here, that are closer to him, look off in that direction. And as soon as you point it out, Ran, it quickly shifts out of vision, out of view. So when you two look, there's nothing there but fog.
I'm going to smack him in the arm and say, "Don't talk about Jane like that."
And it is at that time that when you pointed out that the singing stops as well.
I'm sitting there slack-jawed, and I turn around at the nudge from Jet, and I'm like, there was something out there. It was small, but there was something. There was something. The singing, I don't know what's going on. We got to get out of here.
Braun looks down at them. Did it look like lunch? Remembering that he hasn't eaten yet since the day before.
It was another person. It was something. It looked like a person. I don't know. They were small.
So
been like
not lunch.
Slightly taller than you. Just slightly taller than you.
So very tall.
Sure.
Ran is very tall.
He says, standing next to a 7'8" Furbolg.
I'm going to look up at Braun very curiously and say, "Do you eat people?"
He looks down and goes, "No."
Okay. I was just curious.
Jane, are you still up here or have you made your way back to them?
She has slowly started to make her way back over to the group.
Okay.
I'm tucked weirdly close to Braun's leg, like just fucking practically touching. Just like I'm right up against him, basically. Looking around still, freaking out. Just right up in there. What's up, Braun? Don't mind me.
So you're off. You guys are kind of looking this way. I'll ping. You guys are kind of looking up here, and behind you.
I jumped to the other side of Braun, staring out into wherever I think I heard that, but still, like with a hand on Braun, like freaking out a little bit and shaking. Like, you heard that though, right?
Did
Yep.
we hear it?
All of you heard that one.
Braun, I turn around quickly and grunt, acknowledgement to Bran, looking into the bushes, trying to see if I see anything.
You see an extremely swift, kind of almost blurred form of a small child just shoot past through the trees.
There, I saw it. You saw that, right? What is going on?
Okay, I saw it this time.
I pull out my revolver. Start like pointing it around where things were moving.
Braun nods and puts his hand on his axe, not pulling it out, but ready in case it's needed.
I'm
Just
going
there.
to look over at Jane and make sure she's making it to us safely.
Still going towards them, Jane.
Yeah.
You do eventually get over there. You all sit there, kind of weapons ready, waiting. The leaves rustling in the trees. 3, 4, 5 minutes pass, and there's nothing else.
Ran, breathing heavy, starts to slowly holster his revolver. Let's keep walking.
Which way?
Away from that town. Trying to get my bearings, trying to figure out which way that would be, even at this point, because with all the fog and confusion.
Jane's walking into the woods.
Why?
Okay. Which way?
Fucking random. Okay. Yeah.
Into where everyone was looking as she arrived.
She
Okay.
looks at the other two and just goes, "She's crazy."
She's curious. She's just gonna go in there and be like, "Hello, are you okay? Or where are you?"
Do you want
What-
to play with us?
Us? Who's
And you
us?
see multiple of those kind of shifting. Three small children kind of appear quite a bit of ways from you. You can make them out barely through the fog. And then
Can I tell like what's going
They kind
on
of vanish.
magic wise?
Make a that's kind of a tricky one. Make an arcana check, I suppose.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's going to be a modified 20.
Nice. It almost seems like an illusion to you. There's something material about it, but there's definitely some illusion work happening.
Ron is going to use a speech of beast and leaf to see the plants to reveal anything or make clear anything that's here.
Give me 1 second to look at that real quick.
Yeah. I'll have you double check on that one, I know.
I love
think
that you're
it's like-
using a feature of your race.
You can
amazing.
talk. I'm pretty sure it's like you could talk to them and they might understand you,
Yes.
but they can't like talk back.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You can communicate, though not understand beasts and plants, and have advantage on charisma checks to influence them. Okay, that's what I thought. So you're trying to get them to like show you something. So make a persuasion check against the trees.
Okay.
Goddamn,
Oh,
Willow's
that's
always
only a 7.
The trees exist.
Yeah.
They're there.
the leaves
Braun-
rustle.
Braun is
Could be the
convinced.
wind.
Braun's like, show us what is there. And the trees don't move, and Braun's just kind of like, good.
Yeah. Nothing there.
Yes.
I like it.
Leaves.
Yeah, you're convinced. You're convinced, like, oh, there's nothing there. We're fine.
That's exactly it.
Braun is the best.
So yeah, Jane, there is something material about these figures, but there seems to be a lot of illusion work happening.
Can I look around for like a person that might be casting some sort of spell nearby?
You can, and you do, and there doesn't appear to be anybody.
I'm just gonna. Are the shadow children still there?
They kind of like dashed in and stood for a moment, and then dashed away. Because you didn't answer their question.
I might play with you if you tell me where you're from.
From everywhere, silly. And you can see the figures begin to dash around, even through the path with those of you that are standing on. They kind of dash around in a large circle around you guys.
Can we hear their conversation?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look
It's
wide-eyed and
pretty
terrified.
Dead silent. There's like a slight rustle of the leaves, like it's not anything that would impede you from hearing Jane, who's not too far, and these voices are now coming from kind of all around you.
What are you doing? We're not gonna play with them. What are you talking about?
Here,
Rand yells
you
over
hear
to
the-
Jane.
you just hear.
Make him stop.
Jane looks over at Ran and says, I never told them that you would play with them, maybe. I said, I might. Don't worry, I'm not including you in any of my future plans currently.
Rand just glares. Still nervous about the
She
situation.
glares back.
Upon hearing that, one dashes up just 10 feet away from you, Jane, right in front of you. You want to play then? And then dashes away. And with it this close to you, you notice blue glowing eyes and a grin with sharp teeth that are larger than normal.
Jane's gonna run back to the group.
Finally, some sense.
I'm not sure what's going on exactly, but those things have glowing eyes and sharp teeth, but they're made of shadows. They seem like some sort of illusion, but I can't tell where it's coming from, what's manifesting it.
You read all the time. What the heck is going on? What is it? You must know.
I literally just told you. I don't know where they're coming from. I just know that it's some sort of an illusion, and I couldn't see anything that specifically stood out as to be casting magic or the source of this. So I don't know.
Well, how do we get out?
Make a history check, Jane. Rand brought up a good point about your reading.
Ooh, that's a 17 plus 6, so that'll be a 23, please.
Ooh.
Hot damn!
Hot diggity dog.
You vaguely recall reading a book a long time ago. It's almost like a children's scary book.
Ooh.
And it was titled something like The Children in the Mist.
How apt.
Okay, wait.
Nothing wrong
hold
with
on.
straightforward.
I think you're onto something, sir. I don't remember if you ever actually introduced yourself.
Sir.
I'm Ran Oldbuck, gambler extraordinaire.
Oh my god, this is not the time for introductions. I think you might be right. I have read something about it was from a book, a children's book, like a book of scary stories called The Children in the Mist.
What did it say? What did it say?
I'm trying to remember. Just give me a second. It was a long time ago. Am I able to remember anything about this book? Do you want me to roll something else?
No. It's written as kind of like a short tale to keep kids from wandering off, like into the woods, as
Like
far as you
a
can tell.
boogeyman.
Yeah. And the stories illustrate that there's these children out in the mist and the fog and the woods, that try to play with other children. When the other children play with them, they get taken.
I'm gonna kind of just like relay that to them and just say, you know, I don't think any of us are like children. Like, I'm young, but I'm not a child.
Sorry, I
So-
broke Juan. He's laughing.
Ron just kind of looks around, still slightly convinced, but also not because of his plant friends.
Jane is gonna shout out into the woods like, hey, none of us are kids. You might want to go look for some children. We're not interested.
You shout that out, and 4 creatures appear on the edges of the woods.
We don't want to play. No, thank you. We're definitely not children. We are adults with adult things to do. Thank you and goodbye.
Their heads kind of turn, and the grin smiles unnaturally wide, showing the teeth inside.
Glancing between
Their form
Jane and the
begins-
kids.
Their forms begin to shift into larger creatures with spines.
I think you pissed
And
him off.
That is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Big Sag.
Dun dun dun.
What happens next? We'll find out next time.
Well, Rand never dies, so
Ran Oldbuck never dies. So that'll be our very first Floods and Dragons session, and we'll be back to continue on and find out what the creepy kids in the forest are talking about.
Oh yeah, start with the concert, go to the tavern, everything's so normal. It's fine.
That tavern was not normal. Rand knows that it wasn't normal. Rand old Buck was onto everything.
It seems pretty normal as far as taverns go.
Oh yeah, Miss I had a good sleep.
Yeah, why didn't you have a good sleep? That's all I'm saying.
God damn it. Anyway.
I hope you all enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
That was awesome.
That was.
Thank you very much, Zdardis, for being our lovely and kind DM to a whole bunch of newbies.
Yes,
And,
thank
I
you.
wouldn't have it any other way.
And everyone for playing Original Dice Mom, Undead Cupcake, and Zdardis. Woo! That was great. Thank you, boys and girls. Thanks so much for that. That was awesome. Again, we'll try to keep ironing things out as we go, but I think that worked out pretty darn well for our first go at it.
I think
100%.
so.
And beware the children in the mist.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole image in my head about what they look like and with the way you described it, and it's not pleasant, and
It's not.
you're going full on
Not
horror
meant to
game
be.
with me here.
Can I just say I love how Zedekias's first act in D&D ever is to be conscientious of his height around other people at a concert. Cuppy's first act is to befriend someone that looked interesting and have knitting conversations, and then Flood's first reaction or action in D&D is I want to sit as close to the front of the stage as possible and pushes his way through people.
Move over. Yeah.
Just
Rand
everybody out
old
of the
Buck
way.
knows what he wants and goes for it.
And then he rolls a nat 20 to do it.
I know, it was unbelievable.
Rand old Buck is a professional gambler for a reason. He's a lucky boy. Dardis loves it.
Apparently.
Dardis loves it. So I got to figure out a couple more things and see if there's anything you guys see from our D&D campaign that we can improve upon that you know of from other D&D. This is my first time doing this. Literally tonight was night one. We're going to do Monday night D&D. This particular adventure is going to be a really short one, like basically a one shot, but split over I think 2 sessions, maybe 3. I'm not sure. Not sure what Zdardis has planned, with the intention of going into a bigger, grander campaign in the future. But this is just to get our feet wet, try out, see how the group likes things, see how you all like things, see how we like doing it as a streaming endeavor. And I would really like to see if we can build it into something in the Flood Zone if everyone's on board, like if everyone's having fun. Like, I didn't even know if I was going to enjoy it, to be honest. I think that was really, really fun. And I think we can keep on improving and getting better and having more fun with it. So I hope you enjoyed our first foray into Floods and Dragons. It should become a weekly thing, and I'm really excited about it. This is our first adventure with a bigger campaign brewing in the future. Special thanks to everyone involved, including Zedekias, Undead Cupcake, OriginalDiceMom, and of course our very patient with a bunch of new players, DM Zdardis. Leave them some love in the comments below, and hopefully we'll see you next week.